All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, you already know what time it is. We are here with the one and only. We got self-made independent hip-hop legend coming straight out of the East Coast. We got Jay Holly right here live on the line. How are you doing this evening?
I'm good, man. I can't complain, man. Just taking it one day at a time.
Hey, man, that's the same thing we're doing down here in Canada, man. I gotta ask you, man, how's everything going out? How's everything going out there in New York, man? You know what I mean? I noticed your city's starting to open back up, man. So congratulations on that one.
Yeah, I mean, we was out for a year, with that COVID, that pandemic, just like everybody else. So, spots are starting to slowly open up. Restaurants, you could sit down and eat. But I'm still doing takeout right now, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I caught COVID last year, so I ain't taking that risk.
I gotta say, man, I'm glad to hear you're still here with us, man, after catching that terrible virus, man. But I was even looking at videos there as well, because, like, obviously, like, I couldn't cross the border, so I couldn't go to New York City, but I was seeing that, like, the city that never sleeps, man, was actually sleeping for a while, man. It was creepy just looking at the streets. It looked like a ghost town.
It's crazy. Some streets are still sleeping. You know what I'm saying? Because, some businesses can't have full capacity yet. You know what I'm saying? Some of them just went from 25% to probably 50%, but only a select few spots is doing 100%. And those spots is really doing it unless you got the vaccine and all that. So it's just crazy out here.
But I want to take you back to the beginning, man, of your amazing career, and I got to ask you, man, how did you actually get into the music industry initially? Like, what's the story behind Jay Holly's amazing career?
Well, the story behind Jay Holly is, I've been rapping. I'm 34, man. I've been writing rhymes since I was like 10 or 11. So, I came up watching my brother rhyme and just being in Queens. I'm from Jamaica, Queens, New York. So you had Ja Rule, 50, LL Cool J, Nas, Mobb Deep. You hear this music every day, Noriega, CNN. So it's like, it just gravitates to you. So, once I felt I got good enough, I started going to the studio and recording. And, to make a little fast forward, I put my music on SoundCloud, and I hooked up with Giallo Point. He's out the UK. He heard my music and sent me some beats, and I recorded them, and we put out our first EP. I put out my first ever EP in 2015 called Written Scriptures. So that was kind of big for me. Then a year later, we put out another EP called Shadow Play, which was 2016. And then 2 weeks ago, I just put out an EP with my brother Prime, called 20 Years of Pain. So, I can't stop this music, man. It's in me.
And also, man, when you actually brought up Written Scriptures a few moments ago, that was actually the next question on my list. And I have to ask you, man, like, I know you spoke a little bit about it, but for the listeners that haven't already had the opportunity to actually snag themselves a copy of Written Scriptures, can you tell our listeners a little bit more about the inspiration and the creative process behind that phenomenal album?
The thing when you're not working with a producer live, like in the studio with that chemistry, so really, Giallo, he'll send me a beat with a name of the beat. Producers name beats. So, I basically, if he sent me a beat named Hard Breed, I would just rap about that. The concept comes to me naturally once you gave it to me. You know what I'm saying? So we just went off that, and it worked out. It was like he wasn't in the studio with me. Obviously, he's in the UK. I'm in Jamaica, Queens. But I would send him the record. He'd be like, "Yo, you nailed it." So it was never a record I had to send back to him twice. So I just went off what he gave me, and I took it and ran with it. It was good vibes.
And I have to ask as well, man, like, is that album still available on the internet to be purchased or streamed today? And if so, how can we actually snag ourselves a couple copies?
Oh man, I'm not. Written Scriptures came out 6 years ago, 2015. So I would have to hit him up. But I know Shadow Play, our second album, is still available for purchase on Amazon, like the physical copy.
Hey, most definitely, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you snag the second album, man. You know what I mean? Either get it or you most definitely will regret it.
Yeah, man, I still got it, man. People want it, man. I'll send this to them, man, for free, man. I still have it. I got the songs in my email, man. So if anybody want it, you could just contact me on Facebook, Jay Holly. Email me, jholly247. I'll send it. It's music.
And also as well, man, I noticed a lot of posts on your social media pertaining to Monday Night Raw with different volumes and, of course, locations. I was wondering if you could tell our listeners a bit more about what Monday Night Raw really is, and, of course, when is the next event?
Well, the Monday Night Raw thing, that's just a group I was in. Somebody invited me to the group. It's like Freestyle Monday Night, so I really don't even know who group it is, but, I know the group is about hip-hop, so I'm all about hip-hop. I would just post my music in there and, gain followers throughout the group that enjoy my music. So I just took it and ran with it. It's one of them things I didn't come up with, but somebody invited me. I can't tell you who invited me in. I forgot. It was like 2 years ago. And I don't even post in there like that no more. But, occasionally I do. Because now I feel it's 2021. I don't really put out music unless I'm putting out a visual. It has to be a total package for me because I done put out music for years that really didn't go nowhere because you didn't put nothing else behind it. So now when I put out music, I make sure I put the visual out there and the project follows up after.
Yeah, man, it's most definitely true. A lot of people are more prone to actually engage with visuals nowadays, man. It's like it's you really got to it sounds bad, but got to dumb stuff down for people nowadays, unfortunately.
The thing with the visual is if I'm just rapping and put out a song and put it on SoundCloud, unless you follow me on SoundCloud, you're not gonna hear it. But if I put out the visual on YouTube, it might come up as suggested. You might see a clip of it on Instagram. It's better. You got a better reach. As independent artists, we're not on the radio 20, 30, 40 times a day. Our songs are heavy rotation. So you got to just take those steps and you got to break them barriers and, put the visuals out, invest, get a good cameraman. It takes money to make money. So you got to, if you believe in your vision and your talent, because I got, every time I record a song, I'll be like, damn, we need a video for this. But it's impossible. I got I'm sitting on 350 songs. So you just got to really pick out the best out the bunch that you feel that's going to attract the people the most.
And also as well, man, last year you actually teamed up with Illy Fontaine for the track Tap Dancing. I was wondering, how did yourself and Fontaine get connected? And of course, what was it like just being in the studio and creating that joint with him?
Well, I grew up with Illy Fontaine. That's my man. So, actually tap dancing, I already had the song recorded. And, I just told him to come to the studio and listen to a couple of songs I got. And I played a couple of songs with him. And he heard tap dancing. Tap dancing, it was originally me with 3 verses on it. So he heard it and was like, yo, man, I need to get on it. So I took my last 2 verses off. And he recorded his verse the next day. And boom, tap dancing. Simple as that. It was real, that's how I move, man. If you know what I mean, if I got something you like it, you want to jump on it, let's do it, man. It's music.
And I gotta say as well, man, that is a phenomenal single as well, man. I gotta say, your guys' chemistry within that song is absolutely phenomenal.
I appreciate that, man. You know what I'm saying? Then my brother Prime, he just, I kind of told him, like, yo, I got a couple things going on. If you ever gonna rap again, you should come. You should get on board now, cause I feel things is opening up. We creating our own lane. That's my thing about music, man. I try not to sound like nobody. You know what I'm saying? Just being original, sticking to the core. So it's like, some people gonna hear your music and be like, oh, you sound like you in the '90s. You got to catch up to these times. But I just make music how the music come to me. You know what I'm saying? Once I hear the beat, cause the last 300 songs I've made in the studio, my producer making a beat in front of me. So it ain't like I took the beat and went home and wrote. We making everything on the spot. So it's my natural thoughts.
And also as well, man, last year in 2020, you were actually featured on the self-titled album Untouchables. I was wondering, how did yourself and the Untouchables get connected? And of course, what was it like working with them on that particular project?
Oh yes, I'm still part of the Untouchables. It's funny you say that. It's me, Casablanca, my boy. He's originally from New Orleans, but he's out in Dallas, Texas. We got Noah the Flood, and my boy Ken C. So what happened was when I was working with Giallo Point, when I did Written Scriptures, Casablanca was also putting out an album, but Giallo Point at the same time. So me and him just started doing songs through emails, and then he called me and said, "Yo, I got a song with Flood and Ken C. I need you to jump on it." You know, I really wasn't even familiar with their work. And then he sent it to me. We did it. Then he called me back a day later and was like, "Yo, we got a little lane right now. We should join forces." And like I said, as far as me with music, I'm all about music, so it's like, all right, let's join forces, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we record the Untouchable album. You know what I'm saying? He'll send me a verse, I lay it down, I send it back to him, because Casablanca mixed the whole album up. So that was kind of that was dope, man. So we probably recorded that album in probably like a year and a half.
And I gotta say, man, that it was a phenomenal album, man. And I gotta ask Spell, man, because I know a lot of our listeners, we have an old school fan base at times, and they really do still love that hard copy format. And I have to ask, is there any hard copies available for our listeners to actually be able to snag of that amazing project?
Oh yeah, definitely. There's a lot of those. You can get those CD tapes. We got that. We got vinyl of that as well too. So you know, just contact me directly, you know, and we can get that. I'm J Holly 247 on Instagram, J Holly on Facebook, J Holly 247 at gmail.com. You know, and then I just put out the album 2 weeks ago, more than 20 Years of Pain with my brother Prime. So that's available too. CDs will be available probably in the next month or so.
And you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Either you get it or you most definitely will regret it. Hit the man up today and snag yourself some of that heat.
Oh yeah, we got a lot more. He coming, a new album coming out in July called Modern Day. That's gonna be another 8 tracks. Me and my brother Prime, cause me and my brother Prime, we a group right now as well. So you know that's really now or never. Me and my brother Prime. So J Holly and Prime, that's now or never. And Vito himself, my producer.
And also, man, April of this year, and I have to ask, man, is this one of my favorite projects that you actually put out, man? You actually released one of my favorites, man, like I just mentioned, back in '86. And I have to ask you, what's the story behind that phenomenal single, man? Because just the name alone, you already know it has a rich story behind it.
Oh, yeah, dope. The thing about back in '86, you know, we was actually going to the studio, and my producer was actually making that beat. So he was actually making the beat while me and my brother Prime was walking in, and I'm just like, man, this is taking me back to the essence. So I say the line, me and Prime like Ace and Mitch back in '86, referring to Paid in Full. So after we record the track, I was like, man, I can't come up with a hook for this, because usually I write hooks when I hear beats. I always write my hook first. For some reason, with this beat, I couldn't come up with no hook. So I called my man DJ JS1, you know, world-renowned DJ and graffiti artist, and I kind of asked him for a favor to put the scratches on it, because I just felt it when I heard the beat. I felt that it didn't need a verbal hook; it just needed scratches. So he scratched it up, and as you see the video back in '86, which is the second single off of 20 Years of Pain album that we released 2 weeks ago. We got the New York Knicks jerseys on. I got the New York Knicks, Patrick Ewing, and my brother has the Lawrence Teller, because those are two great New York great sports icons that played in New York in '86. So we put the little spin on the video for that back in '86.
And also as well, man, I gotta say, like I said, that song is absolutely phenomenal. So I'm really looking forward to just being able to see the visuals for that release, man. It's gonna be phenomenal.
Oh no, the video's out right now. It's on YouTube.
Oh man, most definitely.
Check it out. It's on. Just go on YouTube, type in J Holly, JAY, skip a space, HOLLY. It'll pop up right there. It's on my you know, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's right there. I got 7 videos out right now.
And also, man, aside from actually, you know, you doing music, you actually own your own studio as well, called Now or Never Studio. And I was wondering if you can tell our listeners a bit more about your business. And of course, how can potential artists buy studio time from you?
Well, it's the same way. Just contact me. Yeah, but I've been owning the Now or Never Studio for 11 years. This year, 2021, make 11 years. Just, you know, as an independent artist, you just go into the studio, paying weekly, you know, because as an artist, you know, you have to be in the studio recording. So, you know, you're spending, you know, $200 3-4 times a week on studio time. You kind of say, if I opened my own studio, I wouldn't have to do this. I could just pay rent and rent it out to other artists and, you know, still make it happen. So that's what kind of happened. So God bless her dad. My grandmother, she knew somebody that was selling this building out here in Jamaica, Queens, and she got me in the building. And, you know, my grandmother passed 3 years after I've been in that studio, but I'm still there holding on, man. So none of this is possible without my grandmother.
And I do want to say, man, my sincere condolences to you and your family, man.
Thank you.
And also, on May 21st, so not too long ago, you actually released 20 Years of Pain alongside Prime. I was wondering if you can tell our listeners about your new project, and of course, how did yourself and Prime get connected?
You know, Prime is my real brother, you know, same mother, same father, so, you know, I learned, you know, he's like my inspiration to make music, because watching my brother rhyme, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you want to be like your big brother, so my brother always had the skill, and this album means a lot, because, you know, ever since I've been rhyming, I always wanted to make music with my brother, so to be sitting on these projects that we have right now, it's like it's kind of a big deal. It's my third project and his first project ever, so it's like 20 years in the making. That's where the 20 Years of Pain comes into play, and it just came together, man, and we just go in the studio with chemistry. I don't know what he's about to say. He don't know what I'm about to say. He go on the booth, lay something down. I go on the booth, lay something down, and we got a song. And there you go. That's 20 Years of Pain. And so it was a beautiful thing. It was great working on that project.
And also, man, I have to ask, because like you mentioned, you actually have a new album that is coming out soon that you are working on. But other than that, what is next for yourself, Jay Holly? Is there anything I happen to miss during this interview? Anything else you do still want to talk about or promote? Well, we stop you here live on the Canadian airwaves.
Well, 20 Years of Pain is out right now. Thank you for mentioning that. That came out May 21st. Then we're going to release Modern Day in July. We plan on releasing 3 or 4 more albums this year. We got a lot of work. So to me as an artist, just what you gotta show the people consistency, and that you here to stay, and that's how we look at it. So we're gonna just keep providing the best music we could possibly make. Website to be up soon. That's the website that we're working on. NowOrNever.com. That way you can just purchase directly. We got merchandise on the way. You know, we in the mix with talking to a few promoters to get these shows going. So, you know, we just working, man. That's really what it is, you know, the independent grind.
And also, Jay, this is the time in the interview quickly, right before I wrap things up, that I give a chance for the individual that slides into the radio station airwaves, just a chance to give shout-outs to whomever they want to give shout-outs to, but most of all, man, your social media handles, once again, that way our listeners can follow you and stay updated on everything Jay Holly if they're not already doing so.
Oh, peace and love, man. Canada, man. Straight from South Jamaica, Queens to Canada. My Instagram is jayholly247. That's JAYHOLLY 247. My Facebook is jholly, JAY, skip a space, HOLLY. My Twitter is just like my Instagram, jholly247. And I want to give a shout out to you guys for having me on. You know what I mean? I still don't know how you guys found me. I appreciate the love. You know, I want to give a shout out to my big brother. I want to give a shout out to my family, the fans I got out there, and to hip hop, man, because hip hop is the reason I got this interview. So, you know, that's it. Keep it nice, short, and brief for the people.
And I gotta say, first and foremost, man, thank you so much for just taking the time out of your busy evening and coming on 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM. It was an honor and most definitely a privilege to welcome New York's finest right here, live on the radio station airwaves.
Oh, thank you, brother, once again, man. Anytime, man. I'm down to do this again.
Hey, man, most definitely. Thank you so much, man, and definitely have yourself a wonderful night.
Yes, sir. You too.